Hey guys, this is Arturo. I'm gonna be doing the review for Doctor Strange over this Titanfall 2 gameplay, so hope you enjoy it. Um, Now, this is Marvel's 14th film, and let me tell you, they are still on a roll. This movie is amazing. Is it the best Marvel movie? No, not by any stretch. My still favorite to this day is still Captain America 2, then it's Civil War, and then, more and more. But this is a Doctor Strange review. It is a really solid movie into the MCU, and it is by far the strangest one, no pun intended, but it is a very different film, and it's a movie that it plays familiar, like one of Marvel's very first films, which is Iron Man, and this movie follows almost the same beats as Iron Man in a way that is a good thing and it's a bad thing. One thing that we'll get to that in a minute. But let's just start off. Doctor Strange is a character that I personally don't really know about. The very first time I ever even heard Doctor Strange was back when I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, and that was way back in like 2005. And I just remember he was like some kind of character you met along the way, and I was just like, "Oh, you're a Marvel character? I love Marvel, so hey, I want to learn more about you." But yeah, I never really like knew about him. I don't know much about him, and so yeah, this was just a movie that I went into blindingly into, not having that much expectations. I saw the trailers, and the trailers, they were good. There was nothing too amazing where I'm like, "Ooh, I gotta go out and see this movie." Maybe because it's a Marvel movie, yeah, but as in, like, if it wasn't a Marvel movie, this would be one of those movies that I'm like, hey, that possibly could be a good movie. It's looks trippy as hell, but it could be really good. So I went to go see it, and when I left the theater, two thoughts were in my mind. I'm like, it's a really good movie, but it also played a lot like a movie I've seen before, and that movie I had seen is Iron Man. Iron Man, when you first meet Tony Stark, he's kind of this arrogant, type person. He's cool, he's hip, but he's also kind of a dick. And you can say the same for Doctor Strange. They both kind of gave me just a little bit different vibes. I felt like Tony Stark's more arrogant because he's literally a billionaire, while not Tony. Doctor Strange is more, he's just a rich guy. And in the beginning of the film, you kind of find out he's kind of an asshole. And I'll go ahead and say spoilers because this movie, it's already been out for a week, and I'm pretty sure the vast majority have already seen it. But I'm not gonna keep it too spoilery. But basically, he's a neurosurgeon, and he works with his hands, and he makes money out of his hands. So he gets into a very bad accident, car accident, and he really messes up his hands. And in the process of him trying to find different ways of fixing his hands, there's like no luck at all. So he runs into this guy. One of the guys who's trying to help him, doing the rehab on his hands. And he's like, hey, there was this one guy. He went somewhere or whatever, and now he's okay. So Doctor Strange finds him, talks to this guy, and this guy tells him, hey, you should go to Nepal. There was some kind of ancient place or whatever, and he was, he really didn't tell him that much, but he's just like, hey, you want to get this fixed or whatever, go there. So, and that's where the beginning of Doctor Strange kind of kicks off. The beginning is kind of a slow burner, not in a bad way, but it just sets up who this character is, and they did a good job. Benedict Cumberbatch played this character very well, and so he goes to this place and he meets the Ancient One, and right from those couple scenes of him meeting the Ancient One, this when the movie starts really kicking off. It's a really enjoyable movie. Do you have to see any other Marvel movie before watching this? I would say no, because it does not really bring up any other Marvel movie. One thing that they do kind of bring up, they say the Avengers, but it was also in the trailer whenever he's all like, the Avengers protect the world from physical harm, and we sorcerers protect it from the more magical, mystical, or however he says it. And so, do you have to watch any other Marvel movie before watching this one? No. This movie really is a character driven story, and it's like that through the whole entire film, and that's what I like. It held it introduced you into Doctor Strange, and it keeps everything revolved around Doctor Strange. but also, we learn as Doctor Strange learns, about this whole entire magic thing. So we were able to keep up with it. This movie's a really, really well paced movie at that too. Um, some of the, I guess, more negative parts about this movie were the fact that it's so much into Doctor Strange. So a lot of the things that he's also learning is like really, it's a lot to grasp onto. So some things I felt kind of like were lost in that, but it's a really easy movie to kind of keep up with, and I'm very surprised that they were able to do that. Marvel has this tendency of taking the most outrageous type things and kind of like making them sense to the general audiences, so you don't have to, like, oh, I don't know what the hell's going on, but there will be some things where you kind of like, well, I need more explanation to it. As far as actors in the movies go, everybody really played their part really well. The Tim Swin did a good job as playing the ancient one. I know that there was a lot of controversy about whitewashing these actors, well, the characters and stuff. But I mean, I don't have much, yeah, I really don't, care whether as in comic book wise, as the H1, I'm not attached to them, so it didn't bother me as much. But if it did, that's sorry it bothered you. But she really played the part well, and I have no arguments with that. Um, Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange. He played it really, really good. It's just really weird because I've seen him in so many movies. Especially I loved him in the Imitation Games. Whatever role he plays that character. And Benedict Cumberbatch is a really good actor, and I'm so glad that they got him to play in this movie. Um, another criticisms, not really a criticism. I know Marvel has this thing where not a lot of people love their villains, and I can understand that to a certain extent. We do. Marvel has those bad villains, but this one, I wasn't really so much behind him. Like, I didn't. I got what he was trying to do and whatever, but they didn't really give him that much, so he got lost within that. But Mads Nicholson did a good job portraying this character. There was even a part where he started tearing up whenever he's telling Doctor Strange to why he's doing it. Now, I really didn't care about why he was doing it, but the way he acted it gave it some weight to it. So that's why I'm saying, in this villain is not necessarily a throwaway villain. He actually had a purpose. Just his purpose was not given, more things, to back it up. But the way Mads Nicholson acted it, he acted it the shit out of that role, and I don't even think acted is even a word, so I just made that up. But he played this role so damn good that I was like, I actually care about this character. I'm not gonna say he was a good villain. Yes, they need to work on the villains, but if it's one thing Marvel does, and they always do it for 14 films straight, is make these heroes that are non-relatable in any sort of way actually relatable, and that's one of Marvel's biggest thing in all these movies. Yes, your story's only as good as your feeling, but this is also a hero's journey. This is what heroes are about, and this is what I got out of Doctor Strange. They started with this character and they ended this movie with this character. They added a few things, they had world building and stuff, but it stayed true to Doctor Strange and the character throughout the whole entire film. And if I had to rate this movie through 1 through 10, it'd be an 8. Just a couple things, I just, just because it's Marvel, I'm not going to give it any leeway. I think that the villain should have been portrayed or given more to do, but I can totally understand. But, I kind of have to take away from that. And some of the stories, I wish that they would have explained a little bit more. But overall, this is a really good movie, and I think that everybody should go out there and go watch it. There's a little bit of everything for everybody, and it's really a visually stunning film. The special effects are badass, and I've seen it in 3D and in 2D. And let me tell you, watching it in 3D is way better because I'm telling you, I've never seen Inception, and I know that I should really watch it. A lot of people compare it to that film, but until I see it, I'm not going to tell you who's better. But if for those people who have, and you probably watch it, if these are better than Inception's, visual effects, then it tells you a lot that these visual effects are freaking badass. Well, this is it for my review, and I hope that everybody goes out there and enjoys this film, and you should really go watch it.